Welcome back to Beauty Marks Podcast. My name is Elizabeth Savion, and thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. So today we'll actually be talking about body image and just insecurities. I'm going to talk about my story on how I've experienced that over the years and my real truth about that. I know most people have insecurities when it comes to body image, especially in our society today. So we're going to get right into it. So where we're going to start with this is actually my childhood. So I was actually born in Miami, but I was raised in Oklahoma. So Tulsa, Oklahoma was where I lived about 9 years of my life. And that was pretty much mostly from elementary school up to ninth grade. And the people that I lived around in that time, you were either considered white or Mexican. That was literally the two categories that they put you under. And so me in elementary school, I was a little chunky. I had a lot of baby fat, as they would say. And I loved to eat. But the thing is, even though I loved to eat, I was very confident. Like, I loved to be in front of the camera. I loved to take pictures. I loved dressing up. And I think it was just as I was getting from elementary school to middle school that I feel like I started realizing that I don't look like other people. I had, my family, which of course family never does that on purpose, but they feel like by telling you, like you're getting a little beautiful, like you're getting a little hermosa, which is like a way to tell you like you're getting a little chunky. And so that's the way that they say it in the nicest way that they understand it, by saying like, oh, like I see that you're eating good, And I feel like I had family telling me like, I need to watch what I'm eating, like, I'm getting older. And when I saw my friends, they were all very skinny. I had a few friends who really did look up to them, and I saw them and I was like, wow, like they're so beautiful, like they have the goal body. But it wasn't until middle school that I feel like it really hit me. And I had actually a guy that I literally remember this, and it's crazy how we remember like the worst moments and when people make us feel so bad, more than we do like all the praise and all the good things that someone can say to us. Because in middle school, I remember this guy, I know his name and everything. We're like in a group of friends, and I went to walk to get something, and I came back and he's like, whoa, like your butt eats your pants. And everybody started laughing. And then I had people saying like, oh wow, like your butt eats your pants. Like my butt was so big that it was like eating my pants. And I'm short, so being 5 foot and then being, I think I was close to like 170 pounds, which is, kind of chunky, but like at the end of the day, like most kids, they grow out of it. And, most of the time it is just baby fat. Of course there's things that you can do, but I used to love eating tortilla, like quesadillas. Like that was literally my favorite thing to eat was quesadillas. I love Sonic. I love Taco Bueno, which is pretty much like a Taco Bell, but a way better version in Oklahoma. And anyways, so that comment really got to me. And I remember starting to like look at myself, and I just felt sad. Like I felt like I'm not pretty. Like I don't feel like I'm actually fat. Like I finally saw it more than I have ever before. The thing is, in that time, like there was like MySpace. So if anything, like you compare yourselves to people on MySpace, but there wasn't social media how it is today. Like today I can't imagine in elementary school or middle school what girls are seeing online to compare themselves to. So during that time, I really started feeling very insecure and felt the pressure of, why don't I look like that? Why don't I have a boyfriend? Like all those things that you worry about in middle school that are so important, right? So then once that comment was made to me, I felt even more self-conscious about my legs and my butt. And I feel like that's crazy because even to this day, that is when it comes to my legs and my butt, like that's like a little trigger point, you know what I mean? And everyone's like, yeah, but like people want to have the legs and the butt. Well, back in the day, it was not nice if you had legs and a butt. You wanted to have the thigh gap. Like that was in. You wanted to be really, really skinny. You wanted to be so skinny that you can see I remember it used to be that you wanted to see your hip bones. That was so, like people were getting piercings there, at least like in my neighborhood, or how I was raised. And that was when I feel like I really came to a really low point in middle school that I didn't want to be fat anymore. And I was like, you know what? No, like I'm going to work hard. But my working hard was not working hard like I thought it was. It was me not eating. So I remember when we moved kind of in the countryside in the middle of nowhere, that was even like worse when it came to comparison and like the kind of people that were there. Beautiful blonde hair, blue eyes, like super skinny girls. And then there was me with the long black hair. I was very tan, just wanted to fit into that culture. What I ended up doing actually was I stopped eating. So I would actually starve myself. And I remember when I would go home and they would give me food, I would like pretend to eat, be like, yeah, I'm gonna like go over here to eat. And I just wouldn't eat anything. And even at school, like I would skip my meals. And I just felt like I don't want to eat anything. Like I really, really don't. Like I don't want to gain weight. Like that was such a bad thing, like to think about gaining weight. But the thing is that I got really, really sick. So this was probably for a few months that I was, eating very, very little to nothing. Or if I would eat, then like I would eat once in that day. And I got really, really sick. Like I got the flu. So it was like in the winter, during the winter time. And so I got the flu, strep throat. My immune system really just shut down. So my mom ended up taking me to the doctor and they're like, like what's wrong? And so they kind of figured that I wasn't doing healthy, like losing weight, because I started losing weight. And my mom, what she did, she's like, like you need to do it healthy. Like, I don't think that I clearly told her. I think it was just more of, you need to take care of yourself and we need to put you in a gym if you want to lose weight. So I ended up joining the gym with my sisters, and that was the start of an obsession. So it went from me not eating or eating very minimal to being obsessed with working out, being obsessed with weighing myself every single day. And the thing is, like, it's like tricking yourself because you're thinking that the weight that once you get to the weight, then you'll feel so happy about yourself. Then you'll be, so complete. Then all your insecurities would go away. And now that I look back at pictures, I got down to 115 pounds. And this was like 8th and 9th grade. During that time, I felt so miserable. Like I felt like so much pressure on like how I was looking all the time. I remember looking at myself and like this visual still comes to my head sometimes. I remember looking at myself at like 115 pounds in the mirror in the bathroom, and I can see like my bones, like of my rib cage and like my hip bones, and I felt so happy. And I know that sounds so bad, but that just shows like how obsessed I was and how I just wanted to be so skinny. I mean, I dropped so much weight so fast because I wasn't doing it healthy in the beginning. And then me starting to work out and being like obsessed with it, of course you're going to lose weight. So all of that led to years and years of just this back and forth battle of my weight. And the thing is that originally when I first lost weight, all the people that didn't pay attention to me before or that didn't, care for me during that time, then all of a sudden started noticing me, right? Because I look completely different. I look like a whole nother person. I remember people would see me in the hallways and be like, oh my God, like I didn't even recognize you. Of course, that's a great compliment, but nobody knew. This has translated to even being an adult. I mean, in high school, I was very active. Again, this was like an obsession. So I became very active. I got into sports. And I really enjoyed it. I would run miles and miles, and I would work out every day during soccer season. And for volleyball, when I tried out for volleyball, even in the summer, I would make little like plans on like what I'm gonna do. So like I would be like, okay, so I'm gonna do push-ups, sit-ups, jumping jacks. This was when like there wasn't really apps where that they tell you exactly what to do. So like I just made a plan by myself, but it worked, and every week I would increase how many push-ups and sit-ups and all these things I would do, or jumping jacks, whatever it might be. I really wanted to, get to that place where I was like in a happy place with myself, that I felt happy and I felt content, with myself. And even when I got to the goal weight that I wanted to, and even year after year when I was still very skinny, I got to being a 0, and I remember how happy I was. And people would be like, what, you fit in a 0? And I'm like, yep, the thing is that how I also lost a lot of weight really fast and unhealthy, you lose a lot of muscle. So my skin became very, elasticity of my skin became like a little jiggly. Like it wasn't like a firm, like when you lose weight with muscle, and that was also such a big insecurity because I still would want to cover up everything. I think that's always something to keep in mind. It's about being healthy, not about being skinny, because skinny does not equal health. Skinny does not equal you being fit, because you can be really skinny but very unhealthy. You can eat terrible and be super skinny, or you can eat nothing and be super skinny. And the thing is that now I wish that I would have told myself during that time, of like middle school to high school, it doesn't matter what people think about you, but what I think about me. Like that is what matters. And that confidence is my own power. Like if I was just confident, no matter how I looked, it would be great. Be so happy if I just literally loved myself and looked at myself and was like, you know what? You're beautiful. I know you have these goals and these are things that you want to do and achieve with your body, but like you're beautiful and like you have this skin that's important for your body, and these things that are on your body that you feel like are imperfections aren't. And the reality is that most of those girls that you even see that look like what you want to look like, they aren't as happy as you think that they are. And you don't even know if they're struggling with their weight, and they're struggling with their identity, and they're struggling with how they look and their body image. Because now, as an adult, I have heard from so many women that have struggled with their weight. As a, middle school, teenager, even as a young adult, still to this day, I mean, I can't imagine, like, your body changes so much over the years. And then if, let's say you have kids, even more, and so I feel like, how much grace do we really give our body, like, for all it does? It keeps us safe, it keeps us healthy, and especially during these times that, there's a pandemic going on, and it's all about pretty much your body and your health, and like, if you get it, your body has to fight it. Imagine if you're not giving yourself the nutrients that you need during this time. Like, you're putting damage to your body, to your health, and to your life. I really had to get to the point where I had to understand that, Liz, like, your body is beautiful just the way it is. And if you gain a few pounds, you will be okay. Because I got so obsessed with the weight. And even getting out of high school, when I wasn't as active, I did gain weight. I gained like 20 pounds. And I remember that was so torturing for me. And I was like, how am I gaining weight? Like, I have to be more in the gym. I have to like control what I eat. That was such a battle. Like, that is just like if anyone has ever struggled with their body image, and like especially weight is such a big thing, because you're kind of like scarred because you were overweight before, so like you never want to go back to that place. But then you also have to understand that your body does change, and even if you gain muscle, you gain weight. Like, there's so many things that change on your body, so that you can't put yourself as like, okay, I have to be this certain weight, because if I'm not this certain weight, that means that I'm unhealthy. And then you have, again, people around you that maybe don't mean it, but they're telling you like, oh, like, I see that you're gaining some weight, or like happy weight, or whatever it might be. When you get to college and you're not as active anymore, or you're working 2 jobs and you are taking full-time classes, you will probably gain weight if you're not eating good, and if you get in a relationship, people don't talk about that, but yes, you gain happy weight because you guys are eating out all the time. Or if you are, have like a schedule or a lifestyle that isn't that active, like, you will gain weight. And of course, can you do stuff for it? Yes, you can, but it's not about being obsessed with your weight, because being obsessed with anything is not good. And so even during quarantine, if the worst thing that happens to you is that you gain weight, count yourself blessed. Honestly, your schedule has changed, your activity and your maybe as active that you were before has changed. If you have to be at home now or sitting most of the time, your stress level has changed. If you've either lost the job, or you're in an uncomfortable situation at home, or you can't get active as you would like to, or you don't have the space for it. There's so many factors that indicate how your body has changed over the past few months, So if the worst thing that happens from this quarantine that you're at home is that you gain weight, count yourself as blessed. I always say this, and I will never say it's not about being unhealthy, but you gaining 5 to 10 pounds, give your body grace and know that it's a circumstantial thing. And if you want to change that, you can. You can go for a walk. You can put on a dance video. You can, work out with a friend, or, meal prep if you like that, or do things that bring you joy when it comes to health. Overall, with me experiencing that as a young girl, I feel like it has led to bad behaviors, even going into my adulthood, that I would know that if it was kind of like from 0 to 100. So I would know if I don't eat tomorrow, or if I don't eat that many calories, or I only eat once a day, then I can get to the weight that I want. And so it was either I was not eating very little, or I ate really bad. Like I was an emotional eater. So even as an adult, I've gotten to the places where I've gotten close to the weight gain that I had as a child. And I remember feeling so sad and feeling like, oh my God, like I don't want to get to my weight that I was before, because I was so unhappy and I was so, like I felt so bad, and it just kind of brought me back to that place. And it was like, Liz, like you're an adult now, so you have to take different actions. Like don't go back to the same patterns, because those patterns are comfortable. You know that if you don't eat tomorrow and you weigh yourself, you know that you'll feel lighter. Or in the morning, if you weigh yourself in the morning, you know that your weight is going to be the lowest compared to you being, weighing yourself during the day. It's just different. If you eat something, of course, you're going to gain water weight, and that's fine. So over the years, I really have gotten to the place of trying to build a good relationship with food and my body. That's literally been, I would say, for the past 2 years, it's been trying to be better with myself and happier with myself. Now as an adult, I have told myself, no matter what I eat, I deserve to eat and take care of this temple that I have, and what's going to help me have a good immune system that I need. I can have fitness goals, but they need to be coming from a place of love, not of punishment towards my body. It's not like, you're not going to eat tomorrow because you're up 5 pounds. And so this is just a side note, but I started following a lot of different accounts about body positivity and just the reality of how people look, in pictures and, in your body, and how your body changes and all of that. And I've seen so many women that say that they had to, put their scale away and not weigh themselves. And that was what they needed mentally to be okay. So it's asking yourself, what is your non-weight goal? Someone asked that on social media the other day, and I was like, wow, that's such a good way to say it. What is your non-weight goal? What do you want to do aside from your weight? Because weight does not equal health or beauty or perfection. It does not equal that. So, and I said this, I want to have a healthy relationship with food and my body. That is really what I want. And it's an ongoing process. I'm not saying that I've mastered it. And, this is just me being honest of stuff that I struggle with and have struggled with over the years. Even when people would say, what do you mean? You have an ideal body, and people would compliment me, but I didn't see myself that way. I didn't see it. I literally would look at myself and be like, I know, I don't feel good. I rather cover up, or I rather not. Especially with social media today, I want you to hear me well and clear that what you see is not the full picture. It's not the full picture. There are people that teach you how on social media, if you haven't seen it on TikTok and Instagram, on how to pose so that you look skinnier, that you get your best angles. So there's actually people that are telling other people on how to pose so that they can look better on social media. If you hit with the right lighting and the right angle, you will look different. Just like at the beach, if you sit down, you're probably not going to be as most flattering than if you're standing up, or you're, on your knees, or, you're sucking in a little bit, or, so you have to understand that that's the social media culture is not real. Most of those pictures that you see are edited. There's apps that make things look better and make things look more appealing and make you look skinnier, and you can do all of that. It's kind of like surgery for a picture, except it's not real because that's not how someone looks in real life. So I want to tell you that because maybe you don't know and you don't believe that that's actually true, but it is true. Just knowing that if social media is such a big factor for you, then following people that don't make you feel bad about yourself. Like, I've gone through my social media and unfollowed people that I will look at and be like, you know what, like, I want to look like that, but I know I can't look like that. Like, oh my God, how many pounds would I have to lose to look like that? And so I've had to unfollow certain people and follow people that look like me, that look a little bit more normal, that look more real, that, and also about body positivity, people that talk about, the reality of social media versus real life, like people that talk about those things so that you can be like, okay, like it's like a reality check. Like, okay, there's people out there, like this isn't all real. And they'll post those things with their stretch marks, with their stomach, not looking as flat, and all those things that like we strive so much to have. But the reality is that most people don't look like that in real life. I just really have to speak to myself and affirm myself, Of course, when I eat good and I work out, I feel much better. It releases endorphins in your body when you work out, that you feel better, about yourself. When you start feeling, your clothes fit differently, all those things feel better. And especially but again, it's about being healthy, not skinny. When I was eating really, really bad and I was, binge eating food and I would be emotionally eating, I would feel very bad about myself. And, there is a correlation with what you're eating equals to mental health. Like there are certain foods that you eat that are comfort foods that it's like a crash. Like you feel good in the moment, but then you crash. Like you feel super sad. So where I've found myself the most vulnerable is also something that I talked about before, is about the control that I want to have. And weight, when it comes to weight in your body, that's the one thing technically that you have control over, right? And so that becomes like a power thing, that it's like you want to have control over something, and because you're not feeling well about yourself, so you try to control and suppress. So certain things that have helped me over the years and even to this point is about affirming myself, not weighing myself every day, because your weight does not indicate your health. Following more body positive accounts on social media, affirming my own progress and my own body, and just knowing that we're all different and we're all beautiful in our way and how we look, and embracing your body type, your marks, what you have. I have stretch marks. I have cellulite. I have flabby skin. I don't have the picture perfect body, and that's okay. There are some things that you have to see in yourself that that you are beautiful, that you are worthy, you are loved, and most importantly, you are made in the image of God. You are beautifully and wonderfully made. You have to be good in whatever journey you are in and whatever progress you are in. You have to be okay and love yourself in that space, because then you can embrace the new, or the progress that you have made. And just know that, I really wish you luck on your journey. And, I know some people have hit me up and said that they have struggled with body image issues. So, this is me being honest about my own journey and struggle with that. But just know that you've got this, and I'm here to support you in any way that I can. And if you are struggling with that, please reach out to someone. Please reach out to me. So thank you so much for listening and tuning in on today's episode. Today was honestly me being so honest about something that is very vulnerable. But thank you so much for everyone that has heard the podcast, subscribed to the podcast, left a review. That means the world to me. And if you feel in your heart that you can relate to me in some way, please let me know in the comments or contact me. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Elizabeth Savvy, and stay tuned for the next episode.